Hello, guys, and welcome to Odds on Bundesliga Match Day 16th, the first one after the long break we had in Germany. Hello, Radek Vegas, how are you?
I am a little bit sick, but not because of the Bundesliga, because I love it to be back, and I'm really happy to have a look at these games with you and the audience.
2 months without competition. So, guys, remember, leave your comments, your tips, and of course, if you enjoy our videos, press the like and subscribe. And as I said, after 2 months without Bundesliga, we couldn't start better, because the first game we have on Friday is Leipzig, Bayern Munich, and we have to make a little bit of memory. Radek, saying what happened some months ago, and we left Bayern in a really good streak. They were winning 6 games in a row, the last one against Schalke, and also we left Leipzig in really good form, 4 consecutive victories, so this one should be a good game.
Yes, and the only problem we have with all these games is that there has been such a long break, and a lot of players, a lot of important players who played at the World Cup can be tired, and they can be injured, and that's why I expect some surprises in all of these games. But to be honest, I think Bayern Munich, it should be, in terms of all stats we have in the first 15 games, a little bit underrated, because we have odds of 1.85 for Bayern. And we have to just remember that Bayern only lost 1 of their last 15 games against Leipzig. So seems to be not really a threat to them, no matter that Leipzig is also in a great shape. But at the end, I will go with Bayern Munich's win here, 1.85, and I think the odds are good enough. Maybe even if there's a draw, but we have to go for Bayern here.
Okay, Bayern probably they are going to cruise in the Bundesliga after they face PSG in the Champions League in February. This is the best game, of course, we have in this match day, but there are many other interesting games on Saturday. We start with Eintracht Schalke. Eintracht, one of the better teams in the first part of the season. They are in Champions League spots. They were also playing very good in Europe. On the other side, Radek, we have Schalke, bottom of the table, probably going to the Bundesliga too if they don't react quickly.
Yes, and nothing else but a Frankfurt home win would be a surprise. So the problem is the odds on Frankfurt are too low, 1.45. If this is the case, we have 2 options, or maybe 3, not to bet, but I want to give you at least the best prediction I have in this case. The second opinion is that we can have a look on Asian handicaps, but if the 3-way odds are bad, the Asian handicaps odds doesn't make it better necessarily. And the third option, which I like most here, is going with first half, only looking in the first half. And we can do this on Oddspedia. Just go to the full-time result and click on first half, and you get odds of 1.9 if Frankfurt wins the first half. So I expect Frankfurt to be the better teams, have a good start, and at home they can win the first half, and the odds of 1.9 are good enough for that.
All right, next game, perhaps you see better odds in Stuttgart, Mainz. We have Stuttgart in playoff spots to go to the Bundesliga too, but at home, they are good. Actually, they won the last 3 at home. The problems for Stuttgart are when they are traveling. And we left Mainz not great before the break. It's true that they drew with Frankfurt, but they lost the 3 previous games. Apart from the one against Frankfurt. This is why probably Stuttgart are still favorites for this game, despite the position in the table.
Yeah, and everything said. And I think Mainz is not the favorite for sure, and Stuttgart is also not, so it's hard to bet on a winner here. In this case, it's easy. We have good odds on a draw, 3.6 if this game is a draw, and everything leads to a draw here at the 1-1 or something like that, and yeah, so 3.6.
3.6 for the draw. Next game, Union Berlin, Hoffenheim. We have two teams that were falling and falling and falling in the table before the break. So let's see if they've improved. But of course, also we have to say that they were two of the best teams in the first part of the season, especially Union Berlin. The thing is that despite all the bad defeats they were suffering, Union Berlin away from home, Radek, still at home, they've been quite reliable in this Bundesliga.
Yeah, and we have to mention that Union Berlin was leading a long time of the season, and they were on spot 1 in the standings. So now that they are position 5 is because of they had a really bad streak at the end of the year. But mostly not at home, as they are really one of the best home teams. I think number 3 or something like that in the home standings, or 4. Never lost a game at home in 7. Only 6 goals conceded at home, and that's why, yeah, the Union Berlin is kind of favorite in this game. But we have also to consider that they had a bad streak, and Hoffenheim is not that bad and not too easy to defeat. That's why I think also here the best option is a draw, 3.5, and I log it in.
Okay, another draw. Only one victory in the last 9 games for Hoffenheim, and was against Schalke. So they were also in really poor form before the break. Next game is Bochum Hertha for the relegation. On the contrary, Bochum was waking up before that break. They beat Augsburg away, also Gladbach at home. They won the last 3 games when they were playing at home. And if we check the odds for this crucial game against Hertha, also in the relegation battle, the bookies also expect a draw because it pays exactly the same, Bochum to win or Hertha to win.
Yes, and that's a kind of a problem that Bochum was so good in the last games. So I hope there's a kind of a break and the stats are right, because one stat I focus most is the conceded goals, and Bochum has 36 conceded goals and Hertha only 22. So the defense of Hertha is way better and belongs into the first league, while the defense of Bochum is really bad and deserves to go down in the second league. And that's why I think we have an advantage here on the Hertha side. I won't really bet on a Hertha win, but I think it's more likely that Hertha collects at least 1 point here at Bochum. We get odds of 1.9 for a Hertha draw. No bet, draw, no bet. So Asian handicap 0. We get our money bet if there's a draw, but 1.9 if Hertha wins.
Okay, you trust Hertha. We have to say that they've collected only 4 points away from home. But of course, Bochum is one of the weakest teams in this Bundesliga. The last game we have at 3:30 local time is Wolfsburg Freiburg. We have Freiburg, one of the best teams in this Bundesliga. They are second in the standings. They are doing a great season so far, only losing against the 3 big teams, Leipzig, Bayern, and Dortmund. So very reliable. But also, Radek, we have to take in consideration that the Wolfsburg was improving a lot after a very poor start of the season. They won the last 4 games actually in this Bundesliga.
Yes, and that's a kind of surprising, because I thought 𝐬𝐭𝐿𝐴𝐵 will be fired as soon as possible, and then they started to win and not losing anymore. And especially at home, Wolfsburg is also really good, only 1 loss at home. So That's really difficult here to bet. And in this situation, Oddspedia has a really good tool with odds movement. You can see the line moving down for Wolfsburg a bit and moving up for Freiburg. That means, more people are betting on Wolfsburg. The odds are going down. So the bookies also think it's more likely that we see a Wolfsburg win. And we get odds of 2.5 at the moment for Wolfsburg. This is really good. That's why I would bet also here on Asian Handicap 0 on Wolfsburg. And the odds for that are like in the other game, around 1.8, around 1.9. I think 1.8 is also good enough.
So we go for a home victory, draw, no bet. If there is a draw, you get your money back. This is a very good game, Wolfsburg-Freiburg, and the late kickoff on Saturday. We have Cologne, Werder Bremen. We left Cologne in really poor form, only 1 point in the last 5 games. And Werder Bremen in the middle of the table. They lost the last 2, but was against Leipzig and Bayern Munich. Overall, we are seeing a good Werder Bremen, but 2 teams, Radek, that I guess they have a very similar quality. They should be in the middle of the table.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And at the beginning of the season, I would say Cologne would be the better team, especially at home, but they really had problems, and they struggle harder than Bremen as a new team in the league. And after all, I think Bremen has a little bit of advantage here if everything goes like before the break. And we have the option on betting Asian Handicap 0 on Bremen with 2.18, or also go for the draw. And really hard decision here. I would say this can be one of 3 possible draws, and if one of these 3 is a draw, we make money. So I think betting on a draw is also a good option here.
Okay, Werder Bremen, by the way, Radek, they won already 3 games away this season, so they are doing good when they are playing away. In case you want to risk a little bit more, I'm going for the away victory, but Radek is backing the draw for this game. And we have 2 more games on Sunday. Dortmund Augsburg is the next one. Dortmund, they still need to climb spots in the table to get at least to the Champions League spots. They are 6 in the standings because they lost the last 2 games against Gladbach and Wolfsburg. And I guess they should bounce back because Augsburg, they were in really poor form, Radek, and is one of these teams that they will struggle to stay in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, it's obvious that Dortmund should win this home game, really clear, but everyone knows it, and the odds are really bad. So remember, there was a Augsburg good game last season, or even not that much ago against Dortmund. But we shouldn't be afraid. So in any normal situation, Dortmund has a great team and they should be able to win against Augsburg. Betting on Asian Handicap is really bad odds here. But I found one option I really like, and this is Dortmund to win 2-0. And we get odds of 2.75 for Dortmund win 2-0. And this is better than betting on Asian Handicap and hoping that they're winning high, because for winning 2-0 you only need 1 goal, and that's always possible. And that Augsburg scores at Dortmund is not that sure, so that's why I think that is a really good bet for the odds.
Yeah, probably the odds are quite high. I'm checking the head-to-head between these 2 teams. In the last 9 games, all but 1 was both teams to score. Actually, they are pretty good scoring teams in the previous games. And for instance, Augsburg was able to draw in February in 2022 against Borussia Dortmund, but playing in Augsburg, when Dortmund, they play at home, They usually win against this team. There is a great difference of quality between these two teams. So we expect Borussia Dortmund to win. Radek, is a little bit more difficult to predict the last game, Gladbach Leverkusen, for sure. Two teams that were underperforming in the first part of the season. It looks like both are getting slightly better because I guess they cannot get worse. What do you expect? Is Leverkusen, they are slightly favorites for this game. I'm also surprised to see Leverkusen favorite.
Yeah, and I really don't know why, because Gladbach is good at home, and I think they are even the second best team at home. If you look at the home standings, they only got 10 goals at home. Okay, it's not really that good, but yeah, the home quality of Gladbach is better than 2.75 for sure. The odds for Gladbach are too high. But I don't say that they are the favorite or the winner here, because I really like also in this game a draw, because if you ask me for my result, I would say it's a 2-2. A lot of goals here. You don't get a lot of money for goals, but you get a lot of money for a draw, because the odds are 4.1 here. And so, yeah, I'm confident that at least one of these 4 draws I have now will be a draw, maybe even 2 or more. Then it's a good game day.
Funny thing that in the last 10 games between these two teams, I'm checking the stats in Oddspedia, no draws. 3 victories for Gladbach, 7 victories for
against
Leverkusen.
The trend. Yeah, you have to bet against the trend.
Exactly.
So if you bet with the trend, so that's why the odds are like they are. And yeah.
It's kind of the gambler's fallacy. Probably the odds are also good for Leverkusen, because historically the last 5 games were won by Leverkusen between these two teams. Funny enough, we have many draws. In your opinion, in this first match day after the break, we've seen many surprises in the other leagues. The top teams are not in the best after the World Cup, as you mentioned at the beginning. So perhaps there is a good option here to win big money with all the draws that you've mentioned. Radek, tell me your favorite bet for this match day.
Oh, yeah, and I really think I'm going with Hertha, because they're facing one of the worst opponents with Bochum. And I think Asian handicap 0 on Hertha with 1.9 is a good option.
All right, and your ACCA?
Combining this game, 1.9 with Wolfsburg, Asian handicap 0, 1.8. And the last game with Gladbach, I think at the end, at home, Gladbach shouldn't lose this game. If there's a draw, we get our money back and we don't break the ACCA, with Asian handicap 0 on Gladbach with odds of 2.0. So we have 3 games with decent odds, and altogether it's 6.8. And if there is a draw, the ACCA is not lost. Just the one game is counted as with odds of 1 and ignored. And that's why betting on Asian handicap 0 in ACCAs is one of my favorite things. And also one thing to mention is all these 3 games of Hertha, Wolfsburg and Gladbach can be home victories as well for Wolfsburg and Gladbach. That's why Asian handicap -1 on Wolfsburg and Gladbach can also be an option to be combined, but just for the ones who are looking for the high risk. And so, yeah, good luck anyway.
Okay, good luck to everyone. We are happy because Bundesliga is back. We have Radek Vegas back, and we have a very good game, of course, Leipzig Bayern Munich, to start with this Bundesliga again. Radek, thanks as always. Get better and see you next week.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good one.